Sup shitters, my name is Logan aka Spiderhands and welcome to SP Reviews, where today we have ourselves a track from an act named Relentless Pursuit titled Hit the Bricks. And if we switch over to here, we have the track on the screen. I'll make it full. We're going to listen through this track from start till finish and we're going to hear what we think. Let's go. Oh, a little bit of filtering on the guitar there. Interesting placement of the toms on the right. There's a hell of a bass resonance, but it's kind of heavy, man. The vocals are coming through nicely, like the growlers are coming through nice and clearly. The clean vocals are a little bit quiet, but that's okay. It's nice to have a lyric video as well. Like, just for anyone watching this, if you're a musician or an artist and you're sending to your video to reviewers, having the lyrics on the screen can help them kind of, if they miss anything, you know? Damn, it just comes and it just slams you, doesn't it? Just slams you with that bass. Oh, and the pianos come in now. Nice falsetto there. I'm actually really impressed with that hit note, man. That was dope. That was cool. I'm wondering if it would have been cool to have like a little rise, like boom, you know, like a little riser there or something like that, you know? Just something to kind of like elevate into it. It's an interesting combination of like the double kicks with the falsettos. Some really like creative panning going on here. I was kind of expecting it to do that like 3D kind of, you know, like some people can get the audio to go woo around the headphones. I was expecting it to do that for a moment. Still getting my head around that. It's a bit, my brain, I'm still figuring out Dolby kind of surround sound. Not to clarify, I understand how 7.1 speakers work, but like in headphones, I've got the technology to go whoosh. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Ah, there's a new album coming out. Cool. Well, first of all, congratulations, Aaron Orner. Best of luck to Relentless Pursuit with the Hit the Bricks album. No, it's the Heart Through Confusion album, should I say. It's kind of groovy looking album cover there. Yeah, should be good. November 15th. And this is my conclusion of the review of this track. by Relentless Pursuit titled Hit the Bricks. I think that this track is about someone struggling to cope with the situation they're in and needing someone to take the pain and the frustration and the fear away and looking for some sort of relief from what's become of them. Really just kind of trying to find themselves and find a place of security, you know, asking for help. I think that's a beautiful thing. You know, the human mind can be a real pain in the butt sometimes. And, you know, it's always kind of difficult when you have a situation where you're kind of fighting yourself a little bit, going into your head and kind of having to battle it out. But I do hope that if this is stuff Relentless Pursuit's gone through, that they're finding peace with themselves and the world around them. Music is a great therapy, and I'm hoping that when the album comes out, it'll be like more of an elaboration of what they're going through, and hopefully it resolves in a positive way. The vocal performance within this track, I think, is good. I enjoyed listening to the growly, screamy stuff. That was good. And I enjoyed listening to the clean vocals. The falsettos were nice. I liked the idea behind them and what we were going for in terms of like a melody. I think that those were sensible decisions to make. You know, when I listened to this music, I think, could we have done the melodies differently to improve the performance for the listener? I don't think so. I think that we tried to articulate our ways in a way that matched the story, and I think that we tried to express ourselves and emote. And I think that it worked, you know, for the most part. I think it worked quite well. The vocals sounded tuneful, and they sounded in tune with the rest of the instruments as well when they came in. And obviously the growls aren't as difficult to tune to instruments because they're typically non-melodic. They're more of a sort of like a graspy kind of rhythmic, almost a rhythmic device, you know. But still, it was great. When I listen to when I hear what's going on with the actual motif itself, it does sound like someone really going through the ringer, really struggling with things, and then those moments of clarity with like the piano and stuff like that, it's like kind of a sigh of relief, like, is this really the hope that I've been looking for? Are things actually going to improve? And I like the duality between the two things throughout the song. Obviously with the breakdown, when things got really kind of ferocious with the really quick kind of machine gun kicks and stuff like that, you know, obviously we may not have gotten the result we wanted, but at least we're trying to explore different sort of stages within the same track. Because at 3 minutes 38, you know, it can be a little bit brutal to kind of elaborate and sort of talk about as much as you need to, especially when it's kind of it's a necessary evil because of how short people's attention spans are at this point in time, especially with like the focus on like shorter tracks. But still, I think it was carried well, and the actual structuring of the track with the various verses, you know, like, it was almost through composed. I'm not really sure how to describe it. Yeah, I like it when people sort of stray away from traditional ABA structure with tracks. I think it's a smart idea. Because a lot of people are already doing it, and it's going to be predictable for a lot of people if you keep it too sort of like vanilla. The work on the guitars was great, and the drums were nice, and they were ferocious. There were some interesting ideas with the tom fills and stuff like that, but mainly it was sort of snare and kick centric. The bass was full. There was a hell of a bass resonance for most of the track. And it was nice to have the leads sort of filtered like that. They came in with the chugs, and they had some sort of shreddy bits, and the piano as well was nice and pretty and sat well as a foil to the rest of those elements, you know, a bit of brightness in there. And yeah, overall I think that when the instruments came in, they're appropriate for the parts of the story that was being told. The production and recording, mixing and mastering, I think that the growly vocals were pretty good. The clean vocals were like a little bit quiet in the mix. They could have been put up at like 0.5, and you could potentially have put like a version of like an API bus compressor on the subfolder for those tracks, just to kind of get the growlies to kind of filter out at a similar level as the clean parts. But it's still totally fine. It's still totally fine. I'm happy with what they've done with the track in the most part. It's going to be an interesting album. Aside from a bit of sub-bass resonance in there, I think that could potentially be sort of with a little bit of notchy queuing before release, if this hasn't already been put onto digital streaming platforms to release on for the 15th. It's nice and loud. Things are nice and wide in the mix. The bass drops had the power I think they needed to in order to kind of set the different parts in, you know. I think because of the resonance of the sub bass, maybe the sub drops weren't as sort of like potent, but it's okay, you know. We don't have to to do everything the same way. It's fine. And yeah, it was nice and loud. But there was dynamic range, especially to those quiet parts of the piano and sort of falsetto vocals. So I'm glad that we didn't sort of like choke out the track or make it pump unnecessarily. And the filtering of everything else for the most part was good. And aside from the sub bass, there wasn't any other sort of like weird resonant frequencies or anything like that. But effectively, this is my review of Hit the Bricks by Relentless Pursuit. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, please go check out their various social medias and their YouTube page, and stay cool and stay safe. And please remember to support your local musicians and artists at this point in time, as need the help more than ever with all the crazy stuff going on in the world. And I will catch you in the next review. Spiderhands out.